There was a young man named Bilal who lived in a neighborhood where everyone seemed to know everyone else's business. He was 29 years old, worked at his family's small electronics repair shop, and had spent most of his adult life drifting through days without much purpose or direction. He prayed occasionally when he remembered, fasted during Ramadan because his family expected it, and generally lived what he considered a normal life, not particularly bad, but not particularly good either. Bilal had a childhood friend named Sarah who had grown up in the house next door. They had played together as children, studied together through school, and remained close friends even as adults, though always maintaining appropriate boundaries as their faith required. Sarah had grown into a remarkable woman. She worked as a social worker helping troubled youth, volunteered at the local mosque teaching Quran to children, and carried herself with a quiet dignity that came from genuine faith rather than just following tradition. For years, Bilal had harbored secret feelings for Sarah. He admired everything about her: her kindness, her dedication to helping others, the way she spoke about faith with such sincerity. But he had never found the courage to approach her family with a marriage proposal. He always told himself he would do it someday when he had saved more money, when his business was more successful, when he felt more worthy of someone like her. Meanwhile, Sarah had been on her own journey with God. In her mid-20s, she had gone through a period of deep spiritual questioning. She had looked around at the world and felt overwhelmed by its chaos, its materialism, its constant noise and distraction. She had watched friends chase relationships that left them empty, pursue careers that brought money but no peace, seek happiness in things that could never truly satisfy the soul. One night, after performing the tahajjud prayer in the quiet hours before dawn, Sarah had made a decision that would change everything. She sat on her prayer mat with tears streaming down her face and made a commitment to God. "My Lord," she whispered, her heart trembling with emotion, "I have spent years searching for something I cannot name, looking for fulfillment in places that leave me empty. I see now that what I have been seeking is not a person or a position or possessions. What I seek is closeness to you. From this night forward, I want to make my relationship with you my priority. Not just prayer and fasting as rituals, but a real, deep, transformative relationship where I seek your pleasure in every choice, where I turn to you first in every moment of joy or pain, where my heart is attached to you above all else." That night marked the beginning of a transformation in Sarah's life. She began waking every morning for far prayer without an alarm, simply because her soul longed for those quiet moments of communion with God. She started reading the Quran, not as a task to complete, but as a conversation with her Creator, reflecting deeply on each verse and how it applied to her life. She examined every aspect of her existence: her work, her relationships, her use of time, her speech, her thoughts, and asked herself honestly whether each thing brought her closer to God or pulled her further away. Her friends and family noticed the change. There was a new light in Sarah's eyes, a peace in her demeanor that hadn't been there before. She smiled more genuinely, spoke more thoughtfully, and seemed to carry a contentment that didn't depend on external circumstances. Bilal noticed the change too, but he misunderstood what it meant. He assumed Sarah must have met someone, that she was glowing with the happiness of a new relationship. The thought filled him with jealousy and regret. He had waited too long, hesitated too much, and now it seemed he had lost his chance. One Friday afternoon, Bilal was having tea with his older sister Amina, a wise woman who had always been his confidant. He couldn't hide his sadness, and when she pressed him about what was wrong, he finally confessed his feelings about Sarah. "I think she's seeing someone," Bilal said miserably. "I've heard rumors that next week she's going to make some kind of announcement, making it official. I should have spoken up years ago, but now it's too late." Amina looked at her brother thoughtfully. "Have you asked Sarah directly about this? Or are you believing gossip and assumptions?" "I can't ask her," Bilal said. "It would be too painful to hear the truth." His sister shook her head. "You know what your real problem is, Bilal? You're so focused on Sarah that you've forgotten to focus on yourself. While you've been waiting for the perfect moment to propose, have you been working on becoming the kind of man worthy of a woman like her? Have you been developing your relationship with God? Have you been growing in your faith and character? Bilal felt defensive. I'm not a bad person. I pray, I work hard, I don't harm anyone. Not being bad is not the same as being good, Amina said gently. Sarah radiates peace because she has a deep relationship with God. If you want to be with someone like that, you need to be on the same spiritual level. Otherwise, even if she did choose you, the relationship would struggle because you'd be moving in different directions. Her words stung because they were true. Bilal had been so focused on winning Sarah's affection that he had neglected his own spiritual growth. He prayed when convenient, read the Quran rarely, and spent most of his free time on entertainment and distraction. How could he expect to build a life with someone whose priorities were so different from his own? That evening, Bilal went to the mosque for Maghrib prayer, something he rarely did. As he stood in the rows with other men, listening to the Imam recite the Quran in beautiful tones, something shifted in his heart. He realized that he had been approaching everything backward. He had wanted Sarah to complete his life, to fill the emptiness he felt, to give him purpose and direction. But no human being could do that. Only God could fill that void. After the prayer, Bilal stayed sitting on the floor of the mosque as others left. He made dua from the depths of his heart, asking God to guide him, to help him become a better person not for Sarah's sake but for his own soul's sake, to show him what it meant to have a real relationship with his Creator. The next morning, Monday, Bilal woke up for Fajr prayer for the first time in years. It was difficult. His body wanted to sleep, his mind made excuses, but he forced himself out of bed and made an ablution with cold water that shocked him awake. As he prayed in the darkness before dawn, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, a sense of connection to something greater than himself. This became his new routine. Each day, Bilal woke up for Fajr. Each day, he read a portion of the Quran with translation, trying to understand what God was saying to him. Each day, he examined his actions and asked himself whether they aligned with the person he wanted to become. It wasn't easy. Some days he failed. Some days he backslid into old habits. But he kept trying, kept returning to prayer, kept asking God for strength. A week passed, then another, then a month. Bilal was so focused on his own spiritual journey that he almost forgot about the rumors concerning Sarah. But then one Friday, his mother came home from the women's prayer gathering at the mosque with news. "Did you hear?" his mother said excitedly. "Sarah made an announcement today. She's making it official next week." Bilal felt his stomach drop. So the rumors were true. "What exactly is she making official?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. His mother looked at him strangely. Her commitment to memorizing the entire Quran. She's been working with a teacher for months now, and next Friday, she's going to make a public pledge at the mosque to complete her memorization within 2 years. She's dedicating herself fully to this relationship with the Quran, with God's words. It's quite inspiring, really. Bilal sat down heavily, overwhelmed by a mix of emotions. Relief that Sarah wasn't engaged to someone else. Embarrassment that he had believed gossip and assumed the worst. But more than anything, he felt a profound realization washing over him. Sarah wasn't making her relationship official with a person. She was making her relationship with God official, public, intentional. She was declaring to her community that her primary commitment, her deepest relationship, her truest love was for her Creator and His words. That Friday, Bilal attended the community gathering at the mosque where Sarah stood before the congregation with quiet dignity and made her pledge. She spoke about her journey, her realization that the Quran was not just a book to be recited but a conversation with God, a guide for life, a source of healing and wisdom. She explained that she was making this public commitment not to show off but to create accountability, to declare her priorities, and to inspire others to deepen their own relationships with God's words. As Bilal listened, he understood something profound. He had been jealous of an imagined rival for Sarah's affection, but the rival was actually God himself. Sarah had chosen to give her heart, her time, her energy, her devotion to the one who deserved it most. And rather than feeling defeated by this, Bilal felt inspired. After the gathering, as people congratulated Sarah and pledged their support for her journey, Bilal approached her for the first time in months. They spoke briefly, appropriately, with others nearby. "Your commitment is inspiring," Bilal said sincerely. "I've been on my own journey lately, trying to strengthen my relationship with God, and hearing you speak today has reminded me what truly matters." Sarah smiled warmly. "That's beautiful, Bilal. The best relationship we can have is with our Creator. Everything else in life becomes clearer when that relationship is strong." Over the following months, Bilal continued his own spiritual growth. He wasn't doing it to impress Sarah or anyone else anymore. He was doing it because he had discovered something real and transformative. He found that as his relationship with God deepened, the emptiness he had felt for years began to fill with peace. The anxiety about the future lessened. The desperate need for external validation quieted. He also noticed something interesting. As he became more committed to his faith, he started attracting different kinds of people into his life. Friends who wanted to discuss meaningful things rather than just waste time. Opportunities to help others and make a positive difference. A sense of purpose that had been missing before. 1 year after Sarah made her public commitment, Bilal made his own announcement at the mosque. He pledged to dedicate the next 2 years to serious Islamic study, to learn Arabic properly, so he could understand the Quran in its original language, and to work toward becoming a better servant of God. When he spoke, he mentioned that he had been inspired by someone in the community who had shown him what it meant to prioritize one's relationship with God above all else. Sarah was in the audience that day, and when their eyes met briefly across the room, there was a mutual understanding and respect that hadn't existed before. They were both on the same path now, both growing, both committed to the same ultimate goal. 2 years passed. Both Bilal and Sarah completed their respective commitments. Sarah had memorized the entire Quran, a feat that required daily dedication and countless hours of review. Bilal had completed his Arabic studies and deepened his understanding of Islam in ways he never thought possible. Both had transformed into more mature, spiritually grounded individuals. It was during this time that Bilal finally approached Sarah's father with a marriage proposal. But this time, he came as a different man than he had been years before. He wasn't coming out of desperate loneliness or fear of losing her to someone else. He was coming as someone who had his own strong relationship with God and wanted to find a partner to walk beside him on that path. When Sarah's father asked Bilal about his intentions and his readiness for marriage, Bilal spoke with honesty and maturity. "I want to be clear about something," Bilal said. "For years, I admired your daughter, but I wanted her to fill a void in my life, to complete me, to give me purpose. I was looking for her to be my primary relationship, but I've learned that no human being can be that. My primary relationship must be with God. What I'm asking now is whether your daughter would be willing to join me in that journey, not as the center of my life, but as a companion walking toward the same center, which is God." Sarah's father was deeply impressed by this answer. When he discussed it with Sarah, she told him that she had seen Bilal's transformation over the past years and respected the man he had become. "I always liked Bilal as a person," Sarah explained to her father, "but I knew I couldn't marry someone whose relationship with God was weak or casual. I needed a partner who understood that our relationship with each other would always be secondary to our relationships with our Creator. Now, I see that Bilal understands this. He has made his relationship with God official, public, and primary. That is the kind of man I could walk through life beside." The engagement was announced, and their wedding took place 6 months later. But what made their marriage unique was how they approached it. On their wedding night, before anything else, they prayed together, thanking God for bringing them together and asking for his guidance in building a home centered on faith. "Let's make a promise to each other," Sarah said as they sat together after the prayer. "Let's promise that we will always remind each other that our first relationship is with God. If ever we start making each other into idols, if ever we prioritize each other above our Creator, if ever we forget where our true devotion belongs, we will gently redirect each other back to the right path." Bilal agreed wholeheartedly. Our relationship with each other should be a means of drawing closer to God, not a distraction from Him. We should be mirrors for each other, reflecting back God's attributes of mercy, patience, kindness, and forgiveness. Years passed, and Bilal and Sarah built a life together that inspired their community. Their home became known as a place of peace and learning. They had children and raised them with the understanding that the most important relationship they would ever have was with their Creator, and that all other relationships, including with parents, spouses, friends, should flow from and support that primary relationship. When people would ask Sarah about the secret to their happy marriage, she would always give the same answer. The secret is that we don't look to each other to be God. We don't expect each other to be perfect or to fulfill needs that only God can fulfill. We made our relationships with God official first, public, intentional, committed, and our relationship with each other grew naturally from that foundation. When your primary relationship is with the one who created you and knows you completely, every other relationship in your life finds its proper place and purpose. Bilal would add, "I used to think the most important news about Sarah would be about who she chose to marry. But the most accurate and important news about her was that she chose to make her relationship with God her priority. That decision changed not just her life, but mine as well, and the lives of everyone who witnessed her commitment and was inspired to make similar commitments." Their story became a teaching in their community, a reminder that the most important relationship we can make official is not with a spouse or a career or a dream. It is with God. When that relationship is strong, intentional, and public, when we declare our commitment to putting God first in all things, every other aspect of our lives begins to align with divine wisdom and purpose. The news that matters most about any person is not who they're dating or marrying or what job they're taking. The news that matters most is the state of their relationship with their Creator. Next week, next month, or right now in this moment, the most significant thing anyone can do is make that relationship official, to declare with sincerity that God is the center, the priority, the ultimate love, and everything else is built around that sacred connection. This is the truth that Bilal and Sarah discovered, and it is the truth that transforms lives when we have the courage to embrace it fully.